Happy Friday and welcome to Empowering Self and Soul Esteem sessions. I hope you're having a great week and looking forward to the weekend. So today we're going to talk about meditative practices and why important they are for our health and well-being. So for those of you who may be kind of cringe at the thought of ever meditating, I want to share with you there is a series on Gaia by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Rewired. And it's about, I think there's about 14 episodes or something like that. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has an incredible story about his life and how he healed himself. And through really working, aligning with the brain, the mind, heart and mind coherence. And he now has these retreats where people go away on these retreats and they're literally healing themselves from major illness. And in this series, Rewired for Gaia, if you're a member of Gaia, it's actually one of the free series in there. It's about 14 episodes. He is, I remember when I was first introduced to him, I found it hard because he's very, he's a doctor, so he's very technical. He knows his stuff, and it's quite hard to hear, to absorb. And you know, I personally have to listen to him. I've listened to him for years now, so I get it, what he's saying. But it's powerful, and this series is fascinating because he literally speaks about the human being, us, and how stressed we've become. This word stressed that we all use, and how it physically takes its toll on the body, and how the way that our brain works, and how that filters through our whole being, our emotional system, everything. And it's fascinating. For those of you who really struggle with the idea or the experience of any kind of a meditation, please watch that series, because he explains everything so brilliantly. It's a game changer. And once we start to, if you have an analytical mind, you will find it fascinating, and it will change perhaps your thoughts around meditation and the power of meditation. So what is a meditative practice? Well, a meditative practice is when we are able to lose the busyness and quieten the monkey mind, this busy, outward focusing, outward experiencing life world that we live in. And when we can quieten that down and not necessarily, I mean, not all meditations are passive where we close our eyes and, you know, we think of nothing. It's really not. That is one way, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But not all practices are like that. It's about focusing the brain in one way, whether it's through breath work, which is an extraordinary way of really shifting it's the immune system. It changes everything with breath work. Meditation in general does, but there are many other active meditations that we can do, like chanting, and it's a way of quietening down parts of the mind. And in the Rewired series and the work that Dr. Joe Dispenza does, he very much talks about the alpha brain and the delta level of the brain, and how powerful it is to shut down the mind, because only when we shut down that chatter, like sleeping, but we he teaches practices where people get to do that. I've done a little bit of his work, but it's profoundly healing, because we cannot be in a sense of, it's very difficult to be unless we've done some work, to be in a place of health and alignment when we're so in our head, being analytical, being busy. It's impossible to that's how we create dis-ease. So I highly recommend that series because it just helps us to understand how the physical body, the physical mind, and how stress, how this life, this existence affects our nervous system and our health. So it's super fascinating, and I want to bring this up today about meditation and any meditative practice and the quietening of the mind and the how empowering that is. Because when we are not when we're not present and fully mindful and in what we do every moment, everything, I've spoken about this several times, everything is about balance. Everything is about learning how to manage our power, how much power we give away, how much we hold on to, in a sense of not power. It's all an equation of power and our health and a healthy esteem, our self-esteem, and working with the spirit of who we are, soul esteem, to feel calm, to feel present, to feel healthy, and make conscious, empowering choices, not choices in the moment out of our head because we're not actually present. So when we're not conscious and present, we do things like we give our power away. We have very foggy boundaries in terms of our healthy boundaries. We do things, we're a yes person. We do things for other people all the time. We put other people before ourselves. We get busy in our day and we end up at the end of the day, we've actually done nothing for ourselves and we're exhausted. And I'm guilty of that. It's one of the things that comes back for me. So I know about this one and I get to work with this one. We all do to a degree because that's life, because it's human nature. So when we're not conscious of, being present and really looking to being aware of how we feel in every moment. If we're just kind of out there reacting to life out there, we are giving our power away. We have no healthy boundaries, or we have some, but too often, because it's our pattern, it's our cycle, it's what we do, that we exhaust ourselves. We give all our energy away and we're truly spent. So it's not a good balanced way of living to never truly take the time to think about who am I, to not even think, to be present. And it's hard. So how is it like for you in terms of that thought of meditation or any kind of passive meditation or any kind of a practice? How does that sit with you? Does it terrify you? Is it something that you love doing and you just find it absolutely blissful, as do I? Where are you at with that? I'm really curious. I'd love to hear from you. Please message me. I'd love to support you with this because I really believe this is the difference. It's a key turning point from spending all of our life out there, believing that if we get busy and we go and learn another yoga technique, we go and learn another, work with spirit guides, and we learn something else, and we get busy learning something else all the time. The truth is, we have everything we already need. We just get to be still and actually stop all the noise and the busyness and just be present and still. So how does that sit with you? Does it terrify you? Do you find it a big struggle? I'm curious. I'd love to know. And if you're a person who is quite analytical and has quite a high-powered job, or you get stressed very easily, consider this, that when you're analysing and you're spending all this time up here, you're not really in your body, you're not grounded. It is exactly like Joe Dispenza talks about. It is about aligning, which I spoke about at the beginning. It's about aligning, its coherence between the heart and the mind. We get to be in the body, not be dense in the body, but be present in our body, and to be able to practice a meditation, we have to be out of here. So for those of you that are super busy, going on a run or doing something energetic first is the best thing you can do, because it gets you into your body, because the blood goes into the muscles and has to go and do its job. It gets, all the focus comes from here into the body and gets to feed and nurture the body. And then we can, after the body's used itself, we're present, we become more present, all those chemicals get racing around and we start to feel good. We start to relax. The body's really in a much more of a receptive state. So doing some exercise is a really cool thing before sitting down to meditate. Now, meditative practices, it doesn't have to be, let's sit down and close our eyes and set the alarm for 3 minutes or 20 minutes and force ourselves to do it and go crazy. It doesn't have to be that way. There are many other ways. We can put on music. Music's a really good one because it shuts the brain waves down. It's all in that series. It's brilliant. Music is one. If you're really struggling, exercise beforehand. Music as well. There are these fantastic, I can't remember what it's called now. There was one that I had for a while, and it's the binaural sounds. They're like stunning, just kind of in terms of drifting with the music. They just energetically are amazing. That's an idea. There are so many, and this is the thing with meditation, it's personal. It's personal to you. So I suggest you just give it a go. Dive in. It can be journaling, actually. That's another active meditation. It's journaling, because it is active, but it's reflection. It's reflection. And it's so important. It's super powerful. And I want to talk about passive meditation, quiet meditation, because this is something that I did at a time when I never even really had tried meditating ever. But I did it because I was, I'd been through a trauma as a child, and I'd basically shut out all of, I did some of the work, but I didn't really. And I was forced to stop. It's a long story. I'm sure you've heard it already in my previous in the previous sessions, but I automatically I began to realize that I needed to go within. I actually couldn't move forward. I couldn't say yes or do anything, because I just knew I had to do something different with my life, and everything that I'd ever done and tried had not worked. And I knew that I had to just be present and still and wait. And I would say, what I would do is on a morning before everyone was up, before the kids were up, I put the little cushions, I'd sit looking out into the garden. In fact, it was quite dark most of the time, and just being present and closing my eyes. I set the alarm for 20 minutes. Sometimes it was gone really fast and I'd thought about all kinds of things, and I kept bringing myself back, just forget it, letting it go, bringing my mind back, letting it go. Whatever thoughts come, bring them back. And I have to say, it was only maybe, and I was disciplined enough to just stick with it. I think that's the thing, just stick with it. And it was probably only about 2.5 weeks. I began to realize there were moments when I didn't actually have any, I wasn't like, I think I thought of nothing. I didn't think of anything. I had a quiet moment. But I began to have thoughts that were guidance for me. I was intuiting the next steps. And it is only when we allow that to come through, and this is a story for another time, but that's where we get the message. You know, when you intuitively know something, it's coming in, and then we go to our throat, it's filtering in. Oh, I can't possibly say that to anyone because they'll think I'm crazy. So we start to block it, the guidance. Or it might then get to the heart, and I think, well, I can't possibly do that because I'll be on my own and I'm going to lose everybody, and So then we block it. So we are guided, but we block it at different points as we filter it down. It's another story. But I began to receive thoughts, the guidance, and I would journal about it and let it go, and then another thought would come, and another thought would come, and another. And within 2.5 weeks, which is very fast, because I was open to receiving, I was at the end, I was like so done. I had nowhere else to go. I had to shut out the noise and just be present to receive. Passive meditation like that is a game changer. If you're at a point where your life gets to change, something fundamental has to change, and you know it. Maybe it's a huge healing, something. It's powerful, and I have never looked back. I've tried many different things after that, and what's extraordinary now is I can sit down, and the monkey mind still comes back, because it always will, because we're human beings. But I know that those messages are the most powerful messages that you will get. They just are. And we can be guided by tarot cards. We can be guided by, well, a good coach wouldn't guide. They support you in guidance, but they don't tell you what to do. They support you with opening up to realizing your own guidance and steps forward. But all of those things that we get to be busy doing and looking and thinking that that's going to help us and give us the answers. No, we already have all the answers. It's already here. We already know. We just need to we get to shut out the noise and trust that if all we need to do is develop the discipline to sit there, be patient and wait. Just wait and wait. And it will come. It truly will come. It works. Because what's out there, we just get to work on what's going on inside. And if we can show up in life, being present and feeling in alignment, we can change the outside world. That's where change happens. It doesn't happen out there. It happens in here. And when we come into our life, we have a choice. We're fated, without a doubt. We are all fated. But when we decide to look inside, we begin to realize that our destiny is what we choose in here. It's what we choose in here. And out there is a creation of, we've filtered. When something is in actuality, when something has been It's made like a meal. It's in front of you. It's on your plate. The thought has come through about cooking that meal, and it's been manifested, and there it is. Everything out there in this physical world has already been thought about. It's been it's now here. So when we back up and we allow the new, nothing's going to change by being out there. We get to allow the new guidance in, and then allow it to come out and manifest itself, and we ground it, we make it happen. It's powerful. So either we're fated and we go like, we're a total reaction machine to everything out there, we live a fated life, or we live a life that we're destined to live. We receive the guidance, and we manifest it, and we make it happen, like truly. So I want to share with you, I'm going to finish up, a little message. This is in a book. I never actually finished reading it, by Dr. Wayne Dyer. But he puts lots of quotes in here, and one of them is Carl Jung. And it's all about creating our own destiny rather than just living the fated life. And this is what we came here to do. This is what, we have a choice. We always have a choice. So Carl Jung, so rather than looking outside of ourselves, we get to receive. And this is so beautifully written in terms of that realization. From the beginning, I had a sense of destiny, as though my life was assigned to me by fate and had to be fulfilled. This gave me an inner security, and though I could never prove it to myself, it proved itself to me. I did not have the certainty. It had me. Carl Jung. We are guided all the time. It's just a question, it's a choice of are we listening or are we not listening? Are we giving our power away, or are we conserving our power and using it, spending it wisely? And what's true is every bit of guidance that we're given is actually, it's got nothing to do with our ego. It's always about how we get to help other people. It's got nothing to do with the ego. We're here to take care of each other and look after each other. And everything is about that. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Easter weekend. And I will see you next Friday for the Self and Soul Esteem sessions. And please tell me, share with me your comments. I'd love to know how I can support you. Tell me what you'd like to know more about. If you'd like any ideas of how any tools or practices that I can support you with. And after the Easter holiday, I will be bringing in guests. So I've just been planning out the year, and I'm excited to get going and move forward. But listen, what you need is super valuable, because I don't want to sit here every Friday if it's not landing and it's not being supportive for you. This is for you. So I hope this is, you can go into your weekend and just reflect a little bit on everything that I've shared ultimately, because it's all about empowering you and having you reflect, take the time to journal, practice meditation, especially if you've never done it before. Don't set yourself up. Don't make it difficult. Just like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, be present. That's all it takes sometimes, is to just bring our presence back. It's a moment by moment practice. It truly is. And it's not about getting it right or getting it any other way other than what's right for you. Okay, have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.